All right, thanks for watching. This is a Claude Code installation guide for Mac users. Claude Code is taking the, I guess, the knowledge world by storm right now. It's a really impressive piece of software, probably the most impressive piece of AI-related software since ChatGPT came out. I'm excited to be helping you. We made this video because installing Claude Code can be a little bit intimidating, and our company, Caravan, we have a specific way of installing Claude Code and using Claude Code. I also want to add a couple of extra steps here that will help you. This can be a really helpful guide for non-technical users. If you're a software developer, you can probably breeze through this. This might not be the best video for you. It might be a little bit too slow, but hopefully the methodical approach is helpful for people who need a little bit of a slower walkthrough. So I'm excited you're here. And the first thing that you need to use Claude Code is you need a subscription to Claude. All right. And to do so, you would try Claude, and then when it comes to selecting a plan, you would need either a pro plan, a max plan. This is if you're an individual, or if you're working with a team, you would need a standard seat or a premium seat. Okay, so you need to sign up for Claude Code, or you need to sign up for Claude before you can get access to Claude Code. And there are all different kinds of ways you can access Claude. Okay, and I'm going to start off with the most basic one. So here I am in the browser, and I'm going to go to Claude.ai. And this is the classic chat interface, just like ChatGPT. All right, but this isn't going to help us use Claude Chrome. Claude Code. Claude Chrome is another Claude product. There's so many times I'm going to be saying Claude throughout this. All right. So what I'm going to do here is, before we use Claude Chrome, I am going to download Claude for the desktop, and this is a desktop application that is very similar to this window here, but there are a few extra benefits from having the Claude desktop app, and if you already have it, great, you can skip ahead. But if you don't already have the Claude desktop app, maybe you're a classic ChatGPT user, this will be helpful for you. Okay, so I'm just going to Claude desktop app. All right. Installation and setup, download the app. We're going to download the Mac OS version because we're on Mac. If you have a Windows computer, we'll have a separate video for you. All right. This notice is coming up because I created a new user for this for my computer to walk you through this video. So it's just making sure that I have permission to download Claude. I will give myself permission. All right, and Claude is installed. Let's open up Claude on the desktop here. All right, here we go. All right, Claude's an app downloaded from the internet. All right. And I think that Claude remembers me from a previous time I've downloaded. Yeah, but you might have to reconnect your Claude desktop app to your browser, and that's pretty easy. But we did just want to show you what the desktop app looks like for Mac. Okay, and when you download this application, I'm going to minimize my Chrome windows now so you can tell that I'm working inside the Claude desktop app. When you open up Claude, the desktop app, for the first time, you might see chat, co-work, code, and you might say, oh, Claude Code, that's it. I can access it now. All right, and you can. This is a totally reasonable way to access Claude Code. This is not the way that we teach people how to use Claude Code. There are probably advantages to using Claude Code here inside the desktop application, but we're going to download a couple of different applications and use Claude Code inside of those applications. And the reason why we do that, we'll show you later. Okay, so the next application we're going to download, I'm going to minimize this. All right, so there's, remember, Claude in the desktop. All right, and then there was also Claude in the browser. All right, I'm going to close my browser down. I'm never coming back to my browser. We'll have the desktop app open if we need it. If you have any installation instruction questions, we have a file that you can give the Claude desktop application. So here it is, and I'm just going to add that file, and I'm going to say, hey, I am installing Claude Code for the first time. I just installed the Claude desktop app. What are the next steps? I'm doing the Caravan training method. All right. And I've selected the Opus 4.5 model. You can use pretty much any model for this, but you know, when in doubt, Opus 4.5 is the most capable model, and I find that it's best for technical issues because you might have some obscure technical issue that you know, I can't help you with, or you know, it might be uncommon. So anyway, Opus 4.5 is a good model for this. All right. So, hey Robert, great progress on getting Claude desktop installed. Here are your next steps for the Caravan training method. Install VS Code. All right. So I might say, what is VS Code? Okay. In VS Code, VS Code is a a piece of software that helps developers develop software. It's called an integrated development environment. If you're non-technical, just ignore that. Just download it, please. All right, so it started to download. And VS Code is where we're going to live when we work with Claude Code, okay? You will have to get familiar with VS Code to get the best out of Claude Code, in our opinion. Remember, this is just the way that we do it. There are other ways to do it. All right, so let's download VS Code. Before I started using Claude Code, I did not use Visual Studio Code, so I feel your pain if you're non-technical, but we'll get over it. All right, so it says Visual Studio Code is an app, downloaded from the internet. Of course, we want to run it. All right, and here is the VS Code window. And the VS Code application looks like this. All right, there's the, the sideways ribbon, and here's Claude on the desktop, right? So I have not downloaded Claude Code into VS Code yet. All right, remember here is my conversation with Claude Code. Remember, I drug the file down. All right, I'm talking to Claude Code, or sorry, I'm talking to Claude, and it told me to download VS Code. That was my next step. All right, so I've done that. Now it says install Claude Code. In VS Code, open the terminal, view terminal, all right, and then paste this command and press enter. Okay, that kind of sounds intimidating if you're non-technical. What does this command mean? And all it really means is that it's going to the internet and it's pulling data from the internet and putting it onto your computer. Okay, so I'm going to go to VS Code and I'm going to do what it says. In VS Code, open the terminal. Let me exit out of this. You don't need to go through the walkthrough. All right, VS Code here. Remember, it said to go to the terminal. So I'm going to go to the terminal. And what you can do is you can drag the terminal up to this bigger window here. That way you have more surface area and you can see what you're doing. All right, so I'm going to drag the terminal up there, and it says ZSH. You can rename your tabs here. So I could always click rename, and I could say Claude. All right. So now I can refer back to this tab. This is helpful if you opened up other terminal tabs. You could always go back to your terminal tab. Again, this is where software developers might be like, oh, dude, get on with this. All right. Okay. And so the next step was to install Claude Code, paste this command, and press enter. All right, so we're going to copy it. We're going to trust Claude here. And I'm going to command and paste just like you would anywhere else on your computer. I'm going to paste that command, and I'm going to press enter. Here we go. All right, you can see the dialog here, setting up Claude Code. All right, so it said native installation exists, but the squiggly line local bin is not in your path. You need to run this. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. And again, I can tell this might be intimidating. No worries. And I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to hit enter. All right, and it doesn't give me anything back, but the installation is complete now. We also ran this other command. All right, and now it should be installed properly. Let's see. If Claude Code is installed properly, all you have to do is type in Claude and it should pull up. This is kind of like summoning the genie. All right, there we go. So Claude Code has popped up and it asks us to choose the text style that looks best with your terminal. So this is kind of unimportant. I always like to go with the colorblind friendly dark mode, number 3. All right, select the login method. Claude account with the subscription, Anthropic console account, third-party platform. Most likely, you're going to be using number 1. If you have some sort of data that, like HIPAA-compliant data that you're working with, or data that you need to be protected, I would highly advise going through a third-party platform. We can explain why in the description. Probably not super important for you right now if you're going through this guide. So let's go with number 1, Claude account with subscription. Now it says it's opening up my browser to sign in. And what that looked like here is Claude Code would like to connect to your Claude Code chat account. All right, I authorize that. All right, so it said you're all set up for Claude Code. You can now close this window. All right, great. All right, so now I have VS Code, and VS Code is where I'm using Claude Code. All right, and I have the Claude desktop app, and that is not where I'm using Claude Code. That is just where I'm chatting. All right, so here were the installation instructions. Install Claude Code. It said restart VS Code. Okay, just because it says to do that, I will I'll restart it. And I kind of just clicked through the instructions fast there. Basically, I just choose the default settings of Claude Code. And it says, is this a project you created or one that you trust, like your own code, a well-known open source project? If not, review what's in your folder. And basically what it's trying to make sure is that Claude Code isn't opening itself up inside a folder on your computer that might have malicious software like a virus. And so, yes, I trust this folder because it's opened on my computer. All right. And I'm going to restart VS Code because that is what my Claude desktop app recommended. Remember? Restart VS Code. Okay. Here we go. So this is a little bit, or this is totally different than having Claude on the desktop. Claude Code is different than having Claude on the desktop. And I would say it's kind of similar to if you are working with Claude on the desktop here, it's kind of like talking to a really smart friend over the phone. And you can do question and answer. They can give you really good answers, but they can't really do much to help you right now because they're on the phone. They're 500 miles away. You can't really see them. Claude Code is like inviting that same smart friend over to your house, right? They can change your tile. They can polish your floors. They can make real changes to your environment. And let's pretend like folders in your computer are those houses, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a folder for Claude Code. And this is where I want Claude Code to Claude Code to work in right now. I just want Claude Code to be in this folder. It's possible to let Claude Code have access to your entire computer, but right now we just want it to work inside of a folder. All right, so I'm just going to say Claude training here. All right. Okay. So let's go back to VS Code. All right, because remember, we're in the desktop app. We are not in VS Code. All right, I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. And when you open up Visual Studio Code, it'll ask you if you want to start with a new file, open, clone git repository. We're just going to open up a folder here. We're going to open up Claude Training. We're inviting Claude into our house, that house being the Claude Training folder, okay? Remember that folder that we just made? We're going to invite it there. All right, Visual Studio Code would like to access files in your desktop? Yes. Do you trust the authors of the files? Yes, I trust the authors. All right, I'm going to exit out of this welcome message. All right, and remember, we need to go to the terminal, new terminal. And remember, we drag the terminal up here to give us more surface area. And then how do we summon the genie? We type in Claude. All right. And Claude is asking for a quick safety check. Is this a project that I trust? Yes, I trust the author. Okay. Now, I gave you the example earlier of Claude Code being like a really smart friend that can come to your house and perform tasks and like change your house, right? They could build a new room inside your house or build a new feature or something like that. And so remember, we've got this folder here, and it's an empty folder. There's no files in it, all right? And so what we're going to do is we're just going to say, hey, make a text file with the name Robert inside. All right. And you're going to see here on the left, this is where the files will show up. We're inside the Claude Training folder. All right, and this is where all of the files inside that folder will show up. But there are no files right now, so there's nothing to see. And so Claude Code is asking me, do you want to make this edit to robert.txt file? And I'm just going to say, yes, allow all edits during this session. So anytime you want to touch robert.txt, that's fine with me. All right, and it just created this txt file. And so if I was to open up this folder now, I see that there's a text file in it, right? This is like somebody coming to your house and adding a new, I guess giving you a new lamp that you didn't necessarily want. Right now I have this this file. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so it created robert.txt with Robert inside. All right, and now for the Caravan AI training sessions, we usually ask it to ask Claude Code to run a simple piece of code. That way you can see that it can access code and it can code for you. All right, so I'm going to copy and paste this. This is create a Python script that prints ready for training 3 times and then runs it. All right, here we go. So press enter. And you can see this is just like the chat interface, right? It's a little bit smaller, and you can always zoom in, right? I could always get closer to the text, which I'll keep it right there. But the look is just totally different than the desktop app, but it's the same back and forth, okay? All right, so now Claude is asking me, or Claude Code is saying, do you want to proceed? It wants to run a Python script, a piece of code. I'm going to say yes and don't ask again. All right, ready for training. So it printed it 3 times. Okay, so that's it. You have got the Claude desktop app installed now, and you have got VS Code installed, and you have Claude Code installed inside VS Code. All right, that's awesome. And so now you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. You can build all types of software. This is really helpful if you're non-technical like me. Maybe you've always wanted to build software, but you didn't have the patience to learn the languages. Or maybe you are a software developer and you just want to build more code. I think that this is really helpful. So thank you for watching, and we might make another video a couple of weeks from now. This was just our first try. So I hope you enjoyed watching it. I'm looking at the timer now. This is a 22-minute long video. Wow. So I hope that you've stuck with it, and hope you like it. Thank you so much.